and welcome to another episode of Campervan Cooking with a guy at Chicken to Woolies. We are still in the Hamburger, up in KZN, KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa, and on our beef farm. So we've decided today to cook a family favorite, the hamburger. And to accompany our hamburger, we're going to be doing homemade buns and a relish made up of tomato, onion, chili and garlic, which I will show you how to prepare a little later on in the program. Let's have a look at the ingredients that we'll be using for our homemade hamburgers. As I said, this is beef country. We have some very, very nice lean, extra lean mince, about 500 grams, a finely chopped onion, but very finely chopped onion, about 100 ml of full cream milk, 1 medium-sized egg. Into the 100 ml of milk, I'm going to be placing 2 pieces of white bread. The crusts have been removed and it is a bit stale, and then a handful of chopped parsley, and then our salt and pepper. Okay, with our beef, first of all, I'm going to add the onion. I'm mixing this by hand because it's just nice to get it all together. The idea is to keep it fairly moist but compact so that it doesn't fall to pieces when we fry it later on. Okay, mix the onions in well. Before I add the parsley, we're just going to sink our bread into the milk mixture and make it all nice and mushy. The bread helps to bind the meat. I'm going to add in the bread. I'm going to add my parsley now. Gives it really lovely flavor and nice coloring as well. You can hear the mince is quite moist, but I am going to add that egg because it just binds it a little bit more with the bread as well. Just going to crack the egg into that lovely ground beef, and that is what our mixture will look like. It is now ready to basically be made into little patties before we fry it. We're now going to be making the patties into rounds before we start to fry them up. Not going to make them too big because if they're too big they don't cook through. Sort of roll them in your hand, flatten them and put them on your plate. And out of this mixture I'm probably going to get 6 medium-sized patties. And there we have a patty. Before I fry the patties up, I'm going to put them into the fridge for about 10 minutes, just so that they bind nicely and they're nice and cold. Our hamburgers are chilling in the fridge for the next 10 or so minutes, and while they're in the fridge chilling, I'm going to be preparing the relish that will be accompanying the hamburgers. I need 1 onion, fairly large onion, which I'm going to be cutting into rings, 2 tomatoes with skins removed and the center piece removed, some crushed chilies, some garlic, some olive oil for frying, and then salt and pepper. Okay, let's start. Just bring your saucepan, put it on high, heat up, put a dash of olive oil in. Just a glug to cover the bottom. While that's heating up, I'm just going to roughly cut this onion into rings. And then we're going to fry the onion with the garlic before we add the tomato and the chili. Okay, so onion chopped. Our pan should have heated up enough. We're going to add the onion. And of course this will break down. I'm going to add some garlic. Okay, just about a teaspoon or so of garlic. And just mix that around a little bit. I remember with a relish or with a sauce for any type of beef dish, chili can be very overpowering, so it's entirely up to you how much you add. I'm going to add not too much, probably about a 1/4 teaspoon, because there's garlic in here as well, just to give it a nice flavor. Okay, those onion rings are now sweating nicely. I'm going to roughly chop my tomato. With the pips inside is fine. And I'm going to add this to the onion. Lovely juice in there. You can also make more relish. You can add 3 tomatoes or 4 tomatoes. I'm not making too much because I'm only cooking for 3 of us today. To that we're going to add some chili. I'm using the dried chili because I feel it's got a lot more flavor than the chilies that we're finding in the shops right now. It definitely isn't chili season. I'm going to add a little bit more olive oil, just a glug, and then I'm going to allow this to just cook up nicely. And what you can do, if you feel like it, is if you're finding it's not tomatoey enough or it's not strong enough you're liking, you can add a little bit of Worcester sauce to it. You can add some tomato sauce. You can even go as far as adding a little bit of mustard if you want to. It's really just a very simple relish to throw over the hamburgers, because they can be quite dry once they've been cooked. Okay, I'm going to leave that to simmer for a while. We're back with our hamburger patties that I've just taken out the fridge, and we are going to now fry them, again in my favorite, the electric frying pan. Let's just pop the lid off, turn it on to a low heat so that it doesn't burn. I'm going to just add a little bit of olive oil. I know it's a non-stick pan, but the hamburgers are quite thick and I don't want them to burn, so we're going to just add a little bit olive oil to help the process. I wouldn't go anywhere in my camper van without my electric frying pan. It's just a very convenient way of cooking. You can do absolutely everything inside it. You can make stews, you can even make a curry, you can even make a soup in here, and of course frying up our hamburgers as well. Okay, our oil is about ready, and because it's a large frying pan I can actually put all the hamburger patties in together so that they cook equally. Sizzling away already. The secret to cooking hamburgers is not to turn them over too quickly, but you can check by looking at them to see whether they are halfway cooked or not, because the pink will go to brown. See, they're changing color underneath. Turn this over. See how we're doing? There we go. It's got a nice bit of brown on the belly. Turn this over now. And you can just envisage these on a beautiful warm homemade bun, topped with some lovely chili relish. Delicious. Pop the lid back on again. We don't want to dry the hamburgers out too much, so they can be slightly pink in the middle. It's beef, so it's quite acceptable to have it slightly pink in the middle. You don't have to fry them to death. I'm going to leave them for about another 2 to 3 minutes, and then I'm going to check again to see whether they are cooked through. Okay, let's take a look and see how our hamburgers are doing. They've probably been cooking on the side for about 3 to 4 minutes. Actually say these are now complete. I'm going to turn the heat off. And I'm going to transfer them to the paper. And there you have our homemade hamburger on top of our homemade bun with our homemade chili, onion and tomato relish. For this recipe and others, please visit our website www.saroadtrip.com. Until next time, cheerio!